Let's gobble some dong.
All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and all the people that have gotten their junk stolen by, old lady ghosts. This is a brand new. It's a brand new episode of How'd We Get Here? And oh man, we have one of our favorite people on the planet on. I think this is the first time you've been on with us in this branding, right? As I think last time you were
I
on.
believe it was back in the Pink Buzz days that I was on before.
Yeah.
I think the last time we had you on was with Joe, and we were talking about Last Ride, which tragically never came out, right?
Yes, it's was Aftershocked.
Mm-hmm. Aftershocked. That's a good one. Yeah. I think we might have had you on once with
The three amigos,
Ian,
but that was,
and yeah,
We talked about it, and then when he was gone, it was me, Ian, Laurie,
Yeah.
and then there was like a sync one or something at one point as well. I'm sure with Alex.
and also man, what was the third dude's name? The guy that did
Fraser Campbell.
Fraser Campbell, yeah.
Fraser Campbell, yeah, who did Alex Automatic. Great guy, great writer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fun stuff. All right,
hi man, how are you doing, John? It's been a while, man.
I'm feeling all pumped up and ready to run through a wall after that intro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's been a pretty productive couple weeks for you, man. Like, you just finished a Kickstarter, and you also announced a new project at the end of the Kickstarter. So you're on fire, man. What's going on?
Yeah, thankfully not literally, but figuratively, yes. Things seem to be burning up. Like first off, like as you mentioned, they had the Sync Volume 3 City of Killers Kickstarter, which collects Sync issues 11 through 15 plus Dig, the 64-page OGM we did before Volume 3. And yes, it's this big bumper edition book. And as I was saying before we started the recording, for me this really represents like kind of like coming out of like a kind of tough period where like the pandemic happened and all projects get held up, and it seems like it took us a lot longer to get rolling on this than like me or Alex would have liked. But now that it's all done and it's what we're really proud of, and some of the chapters contained in this volume are some of my favourites of the whole series. And if you've only been reading it in collected form and you've been waiting since Volume 2, Blood and Rain, I think this is going to be worth the wait. The Kickstarter was a huge success. It was our highest funded campaign we've ever done. And the books are, I think, pretty much ready for sending out. I think we're just putting finishing touches. I think there's like some surveys that have still to get filled in and some last little pieces here and there. But yeah, I think we're expected to start fulfilling and sending out books very soon. And I think it's going to be a great book, a great volume. And for me, I'm excited just from a seller perspective. Like if being able to have like volume 1, 2, and 3 on like my table rather than volume 1, volume 2, and then all these little books like Dig and Just Desserts and Monsters and Cutthroat and all that. So it was nice to just have a nice streamlined table, and I think the 3 books are going to look really cool together on the shelf. So yeah, I'm very excited about Sync Volume 3.
Yeah, I forgot like how troubled it kind of was, because even after you guys had the issues done, it took a while to like even start putting them out, right? Because I remember you telling me that you had like the first stuff for volume 3 done, but like
the way it worked out was like without getting like too bogged down in like the epic saga of it all, but originally the plan had been like we finished volume 2 in 2019, and the plan was to take a year off and do the Crimson Cage in 2020, then come back and do volume 3 in 2021. But then like remember me now. I think I actually remember like when we signed the contract for the Crimson Cage was February 2020, and at the time I said to Alex, I said, unless society as we know it collapses, this book's coming out in 2020. And then like a month later, like the pandemic shut everything down. And then like so we were kind of like caught in a kind of holding pattern where like neither of us could go off and do anything else because they were saying like technically like production could start at any moment, so you have to be ready. So we ended up waiting, and it ended up being it was like December 2021 before the Crimson Cage finally got released. And then that took us into 2022. And by that point, like I say, like we were like behind the times. We got Dig Out in 2022, and then like me and Alex both had other work. Like I had The Nasty, and Alex had The Excellent, The Devil That Wears My Face, and some other things. So it took us a little while to then get back on to like working on volume 3. I mean, during like the lockdown time, and I was like sitting like pacing in my room and like punching the walls and whatever else, like, you know, I wrote out like volume 3 and volume 4 in a mad frenzy of inspiration, like over like 2020, early 2021. So it's all written, just a case of getting it all drawn now.
I am going to say there is one aspect to the campaign of Sync 3 that kind of bummed me out, and I maybe I should have left a comment to see if I could have got it, but I was a little bummed out that there was no PDF for the ash can for volume 4.
Oh yeah, like the kind of little. Oh, to be honest, like I think this is all kind of quite. I think like that's something probably would have been worth having. I'm actually surprised we didn't have. I just assumed we did. You know, I don't know actually like abreast and all the stuff we have. It's mainly Tyler's thing, but yeah, it would have been a good. It definitely would have been a good thing to have. And I'm surprised it wasn't included as an extra. But from what I can tell, this is like a new thing that Comics Tribe have been doing because it worked well in the last campaign they did.
Yeah.
This idea of like a little like process ash can, and like so I've been seeing some of the stuff Alex has been putting together for it. I think it's going to be a good little like package when it goes out there. But yeah, for future reference for campaigns, I think having that as a digital add-on would be good too.
Yeah, because I mean, like I might have missed it, but I looked all over for it because but I just kept finding the physical copy, which was a little rich for my blood, but like I was definitely interested because I think you guys gave away the ash can for free with Dig and
Well, like watch this space. I'll talk to Tyler at Comics Tribe and see what can be done. It's not too late. There's still updates going out, like to backers, so can't promise anything, but we'll see what we can do.
yeah.
Cool. And in that Kickstarter, you had a little announcement as well. So for people who missed out on the Kickstarter, you have a new book that you're working on with Joe.
Yeah, I'm working with Joe Mulvey of The Last Ride and Power and Pride Infamy, and various other excellent things he's been doing, like stuff for Thundercats and Terminator, Dynamite. But yeah, we're working together on a book called Grogor and Shanks, which, to give the pitch for this, is kind of like Lord of the Rings meets Knives Out. It's a kind of procedural mystery set in a high fantasy backdrop about this kind of like pair of unconventional, like prototypical private detectives that go around solving mysteries and getting into trouble. So yeah, basically like, you know, like it's about this dwarf called Von Grogor, who's like this tailor of questionable talent. But like he goes around from town to town with his orc steward / henchman. And they end up kind of like coming across various mysteries and incidents and things that they have to kind of get involved in. So it's kind of fun to kind of like play on both the tropes of the high fantasy genre and also the tropes of like mysteries and detective stories and like Shane Black type stuff, like The Nice Guys, and another big influence for this as well. And yeah, for me, I think one of the things that kind of like the thought processes behind it all was that I love fantasy, but whenever I kind of like want to go read like a fantasy book, for example, it always feels like it's like, you know, like the Goblin Balls saga, chapter 1 or book 1 of 17, and then the author died before it was finished. So I thought, like, you know, it would be nice to like have like kind of a nice like slimline contained, like have a world, have characters, but it's like really quick fire mysteries. But the characterization that runs through it is some of my favorite writing I've done with the kind of like your way kind of the dynamics between like Grogor and Shanks develop over the course of the series and the little personal dramas and stuff. I think it's going to be a fun book. So the plan for that is much like we've been doing for Sync. We're probably going to go to Kickstarter. We're going to release a couple of like special bumper edition, like double issues containing some of the stories. I'm guessing, like I said, this is all very early days, so it's not all this has been confirmed. But the plan I think is going to be that each Kickstarter campaign we run for Grogor and Shanks is going to have 2 full comics in it, plus maybe like a prose story, plus various extra bonus stuff. So it'll be a little kind of like, you know, full-on kind of like varied anthology type book. And then once we've run the Kickstarters, we're going to go to the direct market and we're going to release in comic shops a 4-issue miniseries called The Curious Trade of Grogor and Shanks, which is going to be those like 4 stories running monthly, and then we'll go and pack and we'll do like the collected edition of that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty much following like the sync structure, the kind of hybrid format, crowdfunding / direct market that's worked so well for us on Sync, and hopefully we'll recreate that success with Grogor and Shanks. Like I say, it's a project that I've been passionate about for years now. I've been trying to get it made, and I feel I've got the perfect creative team for it. I've got Joe Mulvey, who's like a good friend of mine. We've wanted to work together for ages. Colorist, the issue 1 colorist is Kurt Michael Russell, who did great work on The Nasty and does fantastic work in the first issue. And then after that, it's going to be JP Jordan, who's taken over as colorist from that point onwards, and he's great as well, like a really kind of cool, like, up-and-coming talent. And then we've got Sean Lee, my perennial like stalwart letterer from Sync, who's our letterer. So yeah, it's a fun team. I think it's going to be a really good book. And if you like Sync, this is very different, but hopefully you'll still enjoy it.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I like Joe's work too. He's a good follow if people wanted to follow someone who constantly puts up art on socials. Joe's a good follow. He always has something new up almost every day, or every couple days he's posting something new. So yeah, so you can get a feel for what the pages will look like if you go follow Joe Mulvey on socials.
Yep, check it out. Grogor and Shanks coming soon.
There we go. All right. So now to get to to the main attraction here. Not that you're not, John, but I figured we'd have you on where you don't have to like kind of sell yourself for a whole episode.
Well, obviously my favorite thing to talk about is myself. Yeah. But if I was to choose like a second favorite thing to talk about at the moment, it might be DanDaDan. I'm a real fan for fans, so yeah.
Yeah, so when we were talking about doing this episode, I was like, yeah, we got to see if John would be interested, because you went out and bought the manga shortly after you watched the series.
I devoured the anime that's on Netflix. It's excellent. And then like for Christmas, as a wee treat to myself, I went and picked up like every volume that was currently available at the time. And all of them have been translated into English, which I think was the first 9 volumes, I want to say, at the time. And then since then, volume 10 and 11 have also came out.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm all up to date, at least on like the printed English language editions.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And one thing that I'm really hyped about is how quick they're going to have season 2 out. I guess it's going to be in a month or two.
July, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really fast for an anime. I remember I don't think everything took as long as Attack on Titan did to get second season out, but usually it's over a year. You know what I mean? For the follow up to an anime, and this one, I remember. And it got simulcasted, so it aired here the same time as it did in Japan. And and while the last episode was playing, they announced that they're animating and it season 2, and it's going to be out this summer. And I'm just like, yes!
No, yeah, I'm really glad, because I would have been agony to wait for much longer than that. Especially like the way like season 1 ended. But yeah, I even heard they've just announced, like I saw that they're going to be bringing it to this Randall Haney guy is really a good judge of character and a fine connoisseur of good taste.
Yeah,
I'm really jealous. But yeah, apparently they've announced that they're going to be releasing like the first 3 episodes of season 2 as a movie in cinemas for this limited event.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, no, I like that. I read
that's cool.
I think it's called like DanDaDan Evil Eye. I don't know if it's going to get like only in select screens or whatever, but yeah, they had a trailer for it that went on YouTube. So apparently that's going to be coming. That's in June, ahead of like the July release on Netflix of the series.
Huh. And see if maybe Phantom or Fathom come over here and play it over here. Like That would be great, man.
I've mixed feelings about it because one, yes, it would be great, but then the downside is that you watch the first 3 episodes in June, then you have to wait until July, and then you have to sit weekly through those 3 episodes you've already seen before you get new stuff.
unless Netflix does the drops like the 2 or 3 episodes to kick it off, and then to get it out of the way.
Last time, I think, with season 1, they released season 1, the first 4 episodes, after 3 or 4 episodes as a movie, and then they just released it weekly on Netflix when it came out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they did that again. That way, if people went to the theaters to see it, at least they maybe have one extra episode to watch. If they dropped it, like you said, the first 4 block like that, bang, and then you could do the rest. How did you? I'm just curious. How did you hear about DanDaDan?
Well, I'd heard about it back when the manga was first released. Folk were talking about how good it was, and that kind of piqued my interest at the time. So that sounds pretty cool. Didn't know anything about the plot, just that it was getting a lot of acclaim and it was kind of horror adjacent. But I remember at the time I was reading some folk going but it's really horny and kind of skeevy, so maybe and so I was like, maybe not. But I think the description I'd read was how when people make in comedies and stuff, when they have an idea of what a creepy manga fan is reading, this is what they're reading, so that kind of put me off a little bit. And then when the anime came to Netflix, I was kind of slow starter to it, but I was in a group chat and everyone else in the group chat was watching DanDaDan. You've got to watch it, it's excellent, it's great, you've got to check it out, it's so good. And finally, about maybe I think it was 6 episodes in or so, I thought, right, I'll give it a go, and I'm so glad I did, because I gobbled it up, and much like
Dong,
and to be honest, the first episode / first issue goes hard with the kind of creepy, rapey stuff.
Yes.
But after that, I think it gets the worst of that out the way right off the bat, and then after that, I think it kind of subverts those expectations and doesn't really. It goes different from what you'd expect. It's not it kind of uses that as a kind of entry point, but then from there it kind of becomes something a lot more nuanced, I think, and a lot more fun.
Yeah.
It even had some emotional punches, like with the what is it, the ballerina Silky? I forget the
5 or 6
acrobatic Silky.
Acrobatic Silky, when you get her backstory, oh my god, that choked me up, and I didn't expect it in the middle of DanDaDan, you know what I mean? So
because that's the thing, because I remember even in that aforementioned group chat, when folk were saying oh, wait till you get to episode 7, based on what I'd seen of the previous episodes, I thought they meant wait till you see the massive alien dick that you see in episodes. I didn't realize it was going to be your heart's going to get broken, But it was one of the single best episodes of television that aired in 2024, and it was harrowing, and like I say, I watched it and nearly teared up, and then even when I was watching reaction videos of other people watching it, I was tearing up. And it actually gets to the point where you have that absolutely devastating last moment, when a teary-eyed Ira is looking up saying I won't forget, I'll remember you, and then it's almost like Whiplash when it cuts and it's music.
The end. Yeah. See, I knew nothing about this show, and then Johnny's like, "Yo, Joe, man, we've been recording these episodes for what, maybe 5 or 6 years now, Johnny."
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so Johnny's kind of
humor.
Yeah, Johnny's kind of gotten to know me a lot better, so he's like, "Yeah, you got to go check this out." And I was like, "All right, whatever." I like anime, but I'm not a hardcore fan. So, and like you said, that first episode, they went balls to the walls for that first episode, just to
give us your banana organ, male
the
human.
Banana, the gobbling, suckle my titties, gobble your dong. I mean, they just pulled out all the stops, right? It's just, and
also,
it's absurd.
Maybe that could be a good point to kind of for anyone of your regular listeners who has never watched DanDaDan, never heard of DanDaDan, we should try as best as we can to explain what the hell this is about exactly.
Yeah. So well, I'll finish. So then Johnny's told me to watch it, and I knew nothing about this, right? I'm going in completely blind. the first time I've ever seen or heard DanDaDan is Johnny telling me to go watch it. It's on Netflix, and I gotta say, man, just the way they like the sci-fi and the horror, how they marry the two together is just
Yeah.
seamless.
I mean, to be
it's
honest,
fantastic.
like
Yeah.
from the second that opening credits hits, like you're in, you're locked in, you know, like
Yeah.
that first second.
A great first episode that really hooks you. You know, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, you take two, like, all right, let's give people a synopsis of what the show is, basically. So you're doing great, John. So why don't you give everyone the synopsis of what this show is?
Oh, well, the kind of like downside of that is, you know, they'll get a sort of fluid synopsis and an impenetrable Glaswegian accent, but
Well, that's it.
Okay, so if I was to try and sum up DanDaDan, I would say it follows two high school students. You have Okarun, which is like his nickname, is not his actual name, who is a lonely, friendless, geeky weirdo kid who is obsessed with the occult and alien abductions, but doesn't believe in ghosts. And you have Momo, who is a kind of popular, cool, tough as nails kid. Girl, you know, like she's like kind of one of the cool girls. But she really believes in like the supernatural and spirits, cause our gran, who she lives with, claims to be an exorcist who's a kind of minor celebrity on television who reads minds and performs tricks. So she believes in ghosts but doesn't believe in aliens. So through an improbable series of events, these two kids make this bet where they're going to prove that the other one's wrong. So Oakland gets sent to a haunted location to prove there's no such thing as ghosts, and Momo gets sent to an alien abduction site to prove there's no such thing as aliens, and things very quickly go off the rails. And that sounds like a kind of pretty like in-depth status quo that a series could be built on. So let me tell you, that status quo gets burnt through in about 5 minutes to become something completely different. But that's kind of like, that's all you really need to know before going in. I think you should allow yourself to be totally surprised beyond that.
And you just got to think what you just said. That takes place, like, these are half-hour episodes. So that first episode, in a half an hour, they get through all this.
They get through all that in like the first like 5 to 10 minutes.
It's breakneck speed. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's great. It was so good.
For the people that say it's just smutty, though, man, like I much like Joe went in blind. I had no idea what it was, but I really liked the anime called Durarara. The guy that made Bakuno came out, and this kind of sounded like it, so I checked it out, and I was kind of like, I thought it was really cute right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like Momo, she's kind of dumb, but like she means good, because like the nerds are the bullies were actually going to hurt Okarun, man. They were putting, I forget what they were putting in the thing that they were going to throw at him, but they were literally going to try to like bust his face open, and that's when she kind of like
or something in like the
so that's when she finally that's how they meet. She steps in and like looks at him, gives him like the "don't you fucking dare," and then bounces afterwards. And I thought it was really cute that like their friendship started up right away with the whole
the UFO magazine and all that.
Yeah, the UFO magazine, and him teasing her about ghosts, and then and then like them both just taking up the dare, because like you said, she's a popular girl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that she'd be the normal type of girl that would go and check out a UFO hospital in the middle of the night, but like she did, and like it's such a great setup. You know what I mean?
While we're talking about like Momo as a popular girl, this may be a good opportunity to bring up, which was one of my favorite aspects of the show, is that the show is constantly going against like archetype and expectations. But one of the things that the show does that I really enjoy is Momo's like kind of like vapid valley girl friends, who in most shows would be like mean girls and bullies, are actually like all for Okarun. Like this, through a series of misunderstandings, like they think that Momo and Okarun have become a couple, and they're like all for it. They're like, like he's much better than like the dirtbags, like you've been going for. To the point, like later on, like when some like like some suave kind of guy tries to flirt with Momo, they're like, back off, she's got Okarun. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like that touch.
I loved her friends too. The episode where after the shrimp character and they're in the counselor's office, then her friends show up and be like, it's that whole, they break out the projector and they're like, this is what happened. And they deduct all their detective skills and it's like, you're in a love triangle. And they're like, what? Her friends are great. They don't get very much airtime, but when they do, it's fantastic.
One
it's
thing
really
that I
well
hope
done.
gets adapted in season 2, there's like one chapter I loved in the manga, which is like Momo gets like a part-time job, so she's not available like to hang out with Okurun, so she sends her friends to spend the day with him instead, and he's just like horrified as he gets dragged around from place to place by them.
Is that speaking of that? How is the adaptation from the manga
Very
to
close
to the anime? Yeah,
like if there's any differences, it's like very minor stuff. It seems to be like overall it's a very faithful adaptation of the material. Sometimes they expand on a little thing here or there, or sometimes they'll like scale back a thing here and there, but as far as the general structure goes, it's felt like very close.
Oh, that's good.
And I mean, this show is kind of magical because, like, I don't usually like things that have love triangles. Like that's one of the main things that'll get me to turn away. And like this show doesn't just have a love triangle; it's kind of becoming a love square. I
was just about to bring that up. Yeah,
and I'm all here for it, man. I actually like
that. Keeps on going. I think right now, currently, it's like I love Octagon, like whatever I'm at.
But man, I like the other characters too. What's the pink-haired girl's name that thinks she's a warrior god? Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
Again, like that's one of the things I love most about DanDaDan is that it's a show that like likes people and like really sees like the humanity of people, because like when Ira comes in, she's like a horrible character. Essentially how she's introduced is like she bumps into Okurun and she's all sweet and nice and like I'm so sorry, like who are you, I'm Ira, and makes Okurun like feel really nice and having a nice chat, and then like she walks away and she's all like to her friends like I just love doing that, I love talking to like the worst loser I can find, and make like so she's making fun of him. And like so when you first see Ira, you think there's no way this character's going to be redeemable, and then they find an angle into give it like 3 episodes later, like you would run through a wall for Ira, and you're like, this is who this person is and why they are the way they are, and you totally love her too. And then when Gigi comes in, like near the end of season 1, like again, like it would have been so easy for him just to be like the kind of like jock, love rival to Okurun, but instead he's a total doofus, and like he's like one of the best characters in the show, like total wholesome himbo vibes.
The whole cast of these characters are all lovable in their own unique way, right? And like you said, they're all different enough. Like there's no two characters that are the same, and I think that just adds to the dynamic.
A good show is like when or just a good anime / a good manga is that your cast is so varied and interesting that every pairing you get is going to make a distinctive vibe and it's going to be an interesting dynamic in itself.
Yeah,
and Gigi's introduction was hilarious too, because Momo had to do this impersonation because her grandma makes her, and like she's pretending to be this robot. So
it was funny.
She's such a doofus too, you know what I mean?
Oh, she is. And then when what was the pink-haired girl's name again? Ira. When they're when they're talking with their mouths full, you're evil, you're both he's the devil, but they're just arguing, and just the scenarios they put them in are just comical. It's so funny. And
I think like perhaps like the apex of that was like that. I think it was the episode 9, I think I want to say, where the whole episode, I think like Okurun's like naked the whole episode, and it's like and then like at the end, like Ira, like I think
all
first
three of them?
Momo has to like ride him like a jet ski, and then Ira has to do the same, and through some contrivance they both end up underwear as well, and then they kind of get dropped back in the regular world, and they're all in the middle of
they're all naked.
And
they're all running.
They're running through the corridor, and
the hall. Yeah.
And then you have in the background like Ira twirling and coming out and running in as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's juvenile, but in the best way. Like it's so fun. Like it's just silly. if you like to be entertained and just silly, and it doesn't, and I love how the show, I won't say it doesn't take itself seriously, because you get that one episode with the silk ballerina and her backstory, but I mean, I love how it digs into just the weird and the silliness of it and everything, and they hit the mark perfectly, right? A perfect balance between the two, like comedy and action, and yeah.
And the drama lands better because, like, the comedy disarms you, like, where you're so
Mhm.
used to having a good time that, like, when the dramatic beats hit, like, you're kind of like wrong footed, and it really moves you even more than if they were kind of like
Yeah.
signposting it.
And
Yeah, it's almost
one
yeah.
thing we haven't even mentioned yet is the action. Though the action is just as glorious, man. Like
Mhm.
with
Is it
the
Science
art,
Saru, the anime department, the company that make it?
I believe so.
Yeah, like they've done a fantastic job, but just like that, the choreography's stunning.
And
Yeah.
the art style changes when Okaroon turns into Turbo Granny. I got a couple clips we'll probably show a little later that um on YouTube of just the fluid motion and just how gorgeous the action is on this show, man. Like it is unbelievable.
Yeah, the quality and production of the animation is fantastic. And I love like the character designs too.
Yeah.
Like and the evolution of uh like when he turns into the granny, and as he gets a better grasp of the powers he has, how he kind of his look slightly changes as he becomes more accustomed to
And he's all depressed.
yeah, how he's like, oh man, this is yeah, how he's
Bummer.
so like, yeah, such a bummer,
And
man.
also, like, while we're talking about like the virtues of the anime, I also want to give a shout out to how good the English dub is. Because I know like the standard
Mhm.
thing is like, everyone's always like, oh, you have to watch like subtitled the Japanese, like, that's like the
Yeah.
definitive version. But the English language one is so good because like, I've watched plenty of like subpar dubs in the past, but it's been like, like really dry and really kind of like, not grasping the nuance of the language. And sometimes I honestly feel like, because I've tried watching it subbed as well, and sometimes I think the subs feel like a bit like a kind of like dry adaptation that doesn't kind of carry over all the jokes. But like this like dub like really sort of like is creative with it and plays like fast and loose with the direct translations
Mhm.
sometimes to instead find like an equivalent like joke instead, right, rather than like just literally adapting like what the Japanese version does. I think that's kind of like I think that's like really clever the way it does that, like, and it really feels like they put real effort into it, and like the quality of like the voice actors as well is
Yeah.
just really good.
Yeah.
And not too much screaming, like a lot of adaptations where the characters don't talk, they just constantly scream all the time, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be watching some animes and my wife's like, do they ever talk? She's like, all they do is scream the whole episode. And
All the screaming
oh,
is saved for like that I'm an anime dummy in the second last episode.
yeah, so it's great.
Ah,
Yeah. And the grandma, man, do I love that character.
Purple Granny.
Yeah. Hot
Yeah,
Granny.
the gilf, yeah. Yeah, she's great. And
Oh, do you mean like other Granny? I thought you meant like Turbo Granny. Do you mean like
no,
Momo's Gran?
yeah,
Yeah.
Momo's
Oh yeah,
grandma.
like Psycho. Yeah, like she's in yeah, very hot.
So you see where she gets her attitude from as well, right? Her
Yeah.
humor, her dry sense of humor, her attitude, how they just make fun of Hikaru all the time too.
Yeah. What I love is the fact that Psycho, like Momo's Gran, keeps on calling Okarun Four Eyes, despite the fact that she too wears glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. And just and like there's just little scenes where like okay,
It's
there's like that
the
triangle.
meals.
Yeah. There's that triangle, but the friendship they develop where they become so comfortable with one another so quick, and like where he's like, "Oh, the turbo granny took my dong," and she's like, "What? Let's see it." And she's like,
Yeah, let me
"Show
see.
me, show me." And he's all like, "No."
Chasing them in a
And
circle.
how she's always embarrassing him, and he's like, "Oh, come on." And just the little teasing back and forth of
Yeah.
the two, I think is they nail it. It feels so genuine and real. How like a couple friends might, yeah, like go back and forth and tease each other
Yep.
like that. So it feels really grounded and like relatable. And I think they do a fantastic job with the story with all the characters like that.
And I
One
just
thing-
love like I was saying, like on that note about like evolving relationships and stuff, like I was saying, like the meals, like at the end of like every little mission, it feels like, you know, you see like at the end of the first thing, like I think it's episode 4 or 5, the
Mhm.
characters all go back and have a meal, and then like the same thing happens like after like the whole stuff with Acrobatic Silky, the characters go
Yeah.
back and have a meal, and it's like the group's getting bigger every time, and the table's getting bigger and bigger, and they're trying to get more and more of a spread to like, you know, like bicker over. And I think it's actually quite sweet because like at the start of like the series, the first episode, like Okarun has that little speech where he says, like, you know, like ever since he was like a little kid in school, he'd go and stand on the roof and like wait to get abducted by aliens because like he had no friends and no one to
Mhm.
talk, and no one would talk to him, and literally like the reason he kind of like loses his shit a little bit with like Momo in the first episode is because that's like the first person to talk to him, essentially, like, you know. So he goes from this person who has like no friends, no circle around him, and never interacts with anybody other than to get like punched or tripped up or whatever. And then he's slowly building up this whole circle of like, yeah, he's like lost his genitalia and like people are trying to kill him, but like, you know, he's building like this kind of group of friends around him, and he's finding his voice, he's finding his confidence, and he's like becoming like he's getting what he wanted at this kind of community, which is nice.
And the episode where he finally realizes that Momo's hot, I thought
Oh
that
yeah,
was great because like the whole time, like I thought that like he kind of had a crush on her, but for the most part, he just really did think of her as a friend, which I thought was great. I thought it was a really cool twist in that episode where he's just like, you know what? Yeah, she is pretty. You know what I mean? I am gonna try to mac on her, and I was just like, wow, dude, like I didn't see that coming. I thought it was pretty good.
I just love that how it all comes by degrees, like, you know, where in
Mhm.
some level, and maybe in some level, they know that they love each other right from the get go. But is this kind of like in the path to being like, you know, like learning that you know, like you're, you know, worthy of like friendship, and then learning you're worthy of love, you know, and it's like
Mhm.
this kind of like path towards it. Like one of my favorite moments in the whole series is the end of the second last episode when it's like the two anatomy dummies that are holding each other, like and the anatomy dummies saying like, you know, before I met you, like my life was black and white, and then like I met you and everything became full of color. And while this ridiculous moment's happening with these two dummies, it kind of the camera zooms round to like Okarun, and it's like he's seeing like the interactions like with Momo throughout the series. Like the first time she sat there next to him and the various moments together is like the kind of like score swells up, and it's like, and he's like, you know, I'll, you know, and the dummy saying like, I'll find what I have to fight for you and like show like that I love you, and he's like the little determined face, like, and he finally pushes up his glasses and like he's like ready, and it's like I thought it was like give you know like shivers. It was great.
Yeah. The realization, and then for
Well,
sure.
the whole Ken Panakura thing cracks me up too. The fact that
Oh yeah, Ken Takakura, is it? Or Taka?
Yeah.
Can't remember. I'm gonna look it up and see what his name is because it's bugging me. I think it's
Ken-
Ken Takakura. I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken
Ken.
Takakura.
10. Yeah.
Who's kind of like man, he was the ultimate badass, man. Like Humphrey Bogart of Japan, pretty much is kind of like what Ken. So like she's got an old timey crush on this actor, and like it's hella funny that like even she rejects the hell out of it, but she Okarun has got the same name. That's why she
She just happens to have the same name.
And it's
Well-
great that scene, and then the UFO explodes behind her when he says his last name. That was like,
Can I just say as well, you were talking before, Joe, about what's the differences between the anime and the manga. That's one thing the anime did much better, because in the manga, it's just like he says, my name's Ken Takakura, and it's like a full page like splash of her looking shocked. But this added in the explosion in the background, which just makes this even better.
it just, literally and figuratively, it's just like the explosion in her head is literally depicted in the background, right?
That's
it's
how
just
love starts,
fantastic.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that scene. That was that's how I think the episode ends, right? Episode 1. So fantastic. I was like, oh, they just nailed it. They nailed that first episode. Like I challenge anyone to watch that first episode and not want to watch more after watching that first episode. They do such a fantastic job. Like you said, They did go a little heavy with
Yeah.
the
Like if you
the
can get past like
raunchiness.
the rapey aliens with like
Yeah,
penile implements, like
yeah,
threatening teenager. If you
yeah.
can get past that part, like it's all uphill from there.
But I mean, the setup's so great though. Like aside from that, that part is maybe a little bit problematic, maybe for people. But even that is kind of ridiculous the way they present it, like banana, and then I don't know, like even the aliens are goofy. They're almost I don't know. Even that whole sequence is it toes the line for sure, because especially the scene where they just grab and force the legs open, like
Yeah.
that's where I was like,
I think
okay,
it
they
goes
might have,
right up to the line of like this is maybe almost going to go too
yeah,
far, and then the
yeah,
phone rings and they pull it back, and you're like,
yeah,
okay, they're not going to, yeah,
yeah. It breaks the tension right there.
yeah,
Then it becomes the show becomes that's pretty much what the show is after when
yeah,
that phone rings and the granny jumps out. This is what the show is. It's not going to be this rapey vibe all the way through. That's probably you get it in that first episode, and
yeah,
after you don't really get any of that for the
yeah.
rest.
And
Well,
honestly,
until
like
the
after that, like
cliffhanger.
if anyone's like naked in the show, more often it's like the male characters than the women. If anything.
Yeah. Oh, you're right,
I
Johnny.
think,
The season finale. Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
it
And
ends kind of.
the hot water springs. Yeah, that definitely is a
Yeah,
little.
I think Ken spends way more time naked than anybody else.
And he's fully naked. He doesn't even have his underwear anymore. Yeah, they at least leave the girls in their undies and has to go full.
Cheeks to the wind.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least
Oh,
for a little while he doesn't have a dong, so it isn't so bad. He's actually. Do you think they picked his name because he loses his dong early on? So they just let's call him Ken because a Ken doll doesn't have genitalia. I don't know if his first name's Ken because of that. I don't know.
That's deep.
Because Ken doesn't have anything either.
Well, I mean, Okarun's almost whole. He's got his twig and one berry back, right?
Yeah, so that's like a Lance Armstrong level. That's functional.
And oh, dude, like with the anatomic dummies, that was such a funny twist that like it was just a Christmas ornament.
Christmas ornament. Yeah. Oh, well, this first season, what they do? 12, 13 episodes, something
12
like that.
episodes, I think.
12 episodes.
Yeah.
So they're half an hour, and man, I got through it in about what I did the rewatch, like just binged it for the episode. I had it on the background.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna say 3 hours. You get it done for sure.
Yeah, like it's like an afternoon you'll get it watched.
Yeah,
but like, if you can draw it out, please do savor it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
I watched it week to week, and I actually enjoyed it. And I usually hate watching stuff week to week, but
yeah, that's how good it was. Is I'll usually let episodes build up and binge, but this one I was like, no, I did it week to week. There might have been the odd week where I missed, so I'd get 2, but it was that good that I'd watch it on a weekly basis because I just had to know the next episode to see, like the enemy of the week, right? The creature, alien or ghost or demon they're going to fight the next week. Is it going to be an alien? Is it going to be a ghost? Is it going to be both? You never know with this.
Or is it just going to be like gentle high school drama?
Yeah, like which rarely happens. It's usually in there, but not usually like maybe that one episode where they did the backstory of the ballerina.
Oh, no. There was
they had episode 5 where they spent the whole episode like just missing each other in school.
Okay.
And, yeah, he's trying to work out, and
that one where Yari.
That's this episode. That's later on. When Ira kind of like
has Ira, yeah, where they're wrestling, and then she sees it, and that's where the little triangle starts a little bit. Yeah.
There's quite a few really cool scenes at the school. Like when I was watching the pistol shrimp, like right before the big pistol shrimp guy shows up, and like her friends are kind of just, like give because she tries to play so fucking cool, and her friends are just accepting of like what they see as reality. Like, so how's Okarun doing? And she's just like, why are you asking me? I don't care about him. And yeah.
Or the scene when like Gigi first joins the class, and he's like,
Yeah.
And he's making his pure like melodramatic introduction, doing all the finger guns, and it pans to the class, and like all of the girls are enchanted, and all the guys are just like
Yeah,
just raging.
yeah,
Yeah, Gigi's really likable. He reminds me of our friend Phil, kind of. I don't know why. I think it might be the voice they got for him.
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
He's the total doofus though, like not realizing that his house is way bigger than it is. Like that whole trip, I'm like, man, this guy is not sharp.
Yeah, but
I'm really
he's
excited to see where like that storyline goes next season, because
Yeah.
based on like the manga, like pretty much like immediately from like the next chapter right after that end point, things just go like and goes really insane.
Yeah. And I got a hand. I love the intro for this.
Yeah, one of the
For this show. Oh,
But like
so
I said, the
good.
intro sells it right away. Like before anything,
Mhm.
like you're locked in with that intro. You're like,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah, it gets you pumped, like you said. Like you listen to it and it's like dan 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 dan. Then it breaks into that, like, I don't know what
Yeah,
to
the
call it.
creepy nuts.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
uh-huh.
yeah.
Dude, like that one guy, he reminds me of one of the Bone Thugs in Harmony. I never, but like Japanese style.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
kind of
here's a
sounds like a crazy
question.
boner. Go ahead,
Here's a
John.
question for you guys. Like, generally speaking, the standard seems to be in anime that with every new season they do a new theme tune. But I feel like they should keep the theme tune because the theme tune's iconic. I think like maybe they changed the opening video, but I think like they have to keep the theme. It's like too like iconic to like try and do something different.
Yeah, it's good. Like another one that I love the intro for is Doho what is it, Johnny? The one you like?
Doro Hidoro.
Doro Hedoro. Yeah, the intro for that one on Netflix is fantastic as well. I never skip it. Yeah.
Netflix has had some really strong anime recently.
Mhm.
Like you've got DanDaDan, obviously, but then also you had Delicious in Dungeon last year, which was also excellent. And then like last year they had Pluto, or the year before that, I should say, they had Pluto, which is like fantastic. So they're a real strong run.
Mhm. Yeah, the Netflix for their anime stuff is. I remember when they did the Devilman series. I thought that was great as well. I really enjoyed. That was early on, I think, when Netflix started getting to the original, doing like some of their own productions for anime and stuff. Like,
They started that in 2015. Like I think the first one I remember, it was like a manga that I was really big into, Knights of Sidonia by Tsutomu Nihei. Like
Mhm.
that was like the one of the first actual like anime from Japan that like they brought over, but like it
Yeah.
was exclusive to them. It was what kind of what the first stuff that they did. So like yeah, they've been doing it since around 2015.
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah. So not that long, like barely 10 years now, or about 10 years. And I don't know who's in charge of that department at Netflix, but I mean, give them a
They're they're
raise.
Yeah,
they're
they're doing better work than a lot of the other departments in Netflix right now. I'll just say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. The animation department, I don't know, animation, I don't know if it's too separate, but Netflix, for that side of Netflix, they are doing a fantastic job, like with Arcane. What was the other one? The Mark Millar, Crooks.
Super crooks.
Super Crooks was good. I enjoyed that. I
I like the
mean,
Terminator anime that they had on last year. Was
Yeah.
it Terminator Zero? It was called. Or
mhm.
The
pretty good.
cyberpunk anime Edge Runners was great.
Yeah, yeah. Netflix, if you're looking for animation, they have a lot to choose from, and a lot of
Oh,
good stuff.
they got the exclusive for at least English dub for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is
Okay.
I enjoy. I mean,
Well, it's popular. A lot of people love that.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's got the same a similar type of humor to Dan, but it's kind of more about like the shonen fighter stuff. But like it really plays up the homoeroticism from it, and like actually makes fun of it. It's great, man. Like I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
from like Dragon Ball and all that. Yeah.
So yeah, go check out Netflix for all their animated stuff.
All
It's
Yeah,
your anime needs.
they just put out the Devil May Cry one.
You
It's
hearing good
okay.
things about that?
What's up?
I've been hearing good things about that. The Devil May Cry one.
It's the animation's great. I wish it was written a little better, man. To tell you the truth, but it's a lot of fun. It's not horrible. You know what I mean? I liked it a lot better than the Nocturna Castlevania. I mean, I like that okay, but like it wasn't as good as the original Castlevania anime.
I don't think I ever played the Devil May Cry games though, so I'm maybe not the audience for it.
Oh, you'll be fine, man. Like it's just a Dante fighting a bunny rabbit, man. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, the villain's pretty cool. I only watched the first episode, but the rabbit villain, it's cool. It's a good design. Yeah. What else? I mean, if
Oh, they had Sakamoto days. That wasn't really my jam. It kind of reminded me of a Tim Allen show. Like old fat men, they know how to do everything better than anybody else. It's kind of the fucking motto of that show.
Yeah. But I mean, anyone that hasn't watched DanDaDan, I mean, I can't recommend this show more highly. Like,
yeah,
it's just a good time. It's fun. It's the characters are amazing. They're well developed. The characters you'll fall in love with. I challenge anyone to watch the whole series and not fall in love with at least one of the characters in this.
And it's actually it's a real low level a real low commitment challenge I set to you. If you're watching this and you've not watched DanDaDan, go to Netflix and put on first episode. It's only going to take you 25 minutes, and if you don't like that, fair enough. But I think if you try that first episode, you'll know exactly what you're getting, and you'll be on board probably.
Yeah, and it's action packed. So and some great action in it, like the granny one where they're racing is fantastic with the giant crab. I mean, they're all good. Like the silk ballerina when they're jumping through the beams in the warehouse. I mean, the animation, like we said before. Oh yeah, great with that Godzilla like lizard creature roaming the halls. I mean, like if that doesn't sell you, like just the design, the character designs in this are fantastic, like second to none. Yeah. And the pistol shrimp story is kind of touching as well.
Yeah, there's very few things like are what they seem in this world. There's always some extra angle to show.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny's got some clips. So Johnny, which one is this?
Is this Okarun goes full throttle?
Okay. Yeah, see here you got Okarun when he channels the granny.
Need to get that William Tell Overture music playing.
Yeah, it's great.
I do it without sound. We'll just talk over
doesn't get copyright struck.
Yeah. But here you get a look. Yeah. But here you get a nice, cool, like it's just cool design, right?
Yeah.
Like with that kind of mask with the teeth, which is kind of popular because of the.
It's very cosplayable.
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul. It's
something.
It's a cool look.
The children.
Yeah. People love the looks. So. Mm-hmm. And I love
her arm powers, man. I like the way that's done too. She's got almost like Spider-Man with it, but
yeah.
And it echoes their relationship when they fight, how they have to team up together to win. It illustrates the bond that they build together, how, like symbiotic they are, how they need each other. Like, I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good.
Yeah, run right up that crab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, and the colors, I love it's all.
I love how it's always red with the ghosts and blue with the aliens.
Yeah. And I love the streaks they put in his hair too when he transforms. He's got that little streak with the red eyes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And she's great too. Like right off the bat in that first episode when she has that fight with her boyfriend and she goes to kick him.
Oh yeah.
Like that scene, just the perspective, the shot, the camera angle.
Then that gets called back later on.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, oh, I love that. That was a great little scene right off the start, right in the opening scene. So
I just love in that opening scene as well. Like I think it's like the next scene after that one, we see her slumping through the corridor and his big long legs, like walking, and she's got her hand in her pocket and she's like that. I just like how this show allows rather than the female lead being the straight man or or being nice and pretty and genteel. Like she gets a bit of a scumbag as well and a bit of an idiot. Like like I think like it works. It's like everyone has a part to play.
Yeah. Did you have Johnny? You said had a few other ones you want to show, maybe 2 or 3 different ones?
Yeah, here
Or
I
was
got
it just
another
one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many highlights for this show. Like there's something I don't think there was a single episode I watched where I was like, ugh. Every episode offers you something. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's like sex symbol, psycho ISA, the hottest granny in fiction.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's so cool and collected all the time. Like
yeah.
She
Making
never
smoking
gets
go again, which is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, Turbo Granny.
Yeah. They're kind of laying down the law, and like basically like Turbo Granny gets put into submission, and like she becomes part of the team. She's stuck in I don't know what the that type of cat's called, the one with the rock on arm, but she's basically
a little good fortune cat. I can't remember what its proper name is, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And it basically possesses one of those, and it, pretty funny character, man. Like some good comedy relief, and I don't know, kind of like tries to lead the kids maybe a little astray, makes them try to get them to do some more vicious things than they should. But like the monster designs are great, man.
Yeah,
like look at that, those eyes rolling around.
Is it episode 2 where they have the big sumo alien?
Yeah.
That's another great one. I love that. Yeah. I love that sketchy when it's the Turbo Granny and you get that sketchy style of animation. Fantastic.
I'm trying to think, what was the name of that monster? Was it the Flatwoods monster or something in episode 2?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think
the one that invaded the granny's home because they took off the the spell, the warding.
Yeah.
I think I thought he was part of the aliens because he started talking about a banana, right? At least
banana.
Yeah,
he's an alien creature. Yeah.
All right, I think the aliens are working with the demons, man. It's like what's gonna.
Well, they want the demons, right? Because what was it? At one point, they're like,
they said they can invite us, almost like the ghosts are what's protecting the Earth from the aliens.
Mm-hmm. And how they traveled through the phone, and they're like, oh, traveling through devices. We don't have that technology. Right at the beginning, they're all amazed by the granny creature coming through the phone. Yeah. Yeah. So you want the aliens want to harness supernatural abilities. They become obsessed with it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And then somehow this is to acquire these abilities involves like taking the reproductive systems of the.
Bananas. Yeah, they say. I don't know how many times they say it in the episode, but yeah, it's pretty comical. Yeah, and his ball, just how they give him back his balls too is just so ridiculous.
They have the baseball setup, but his like legs are spread like that. And it's like,
yeah, yeah, that's where the granny and the 2 grannies actually, one's at bat and one's pitching. You know,
yes. Like what happened if like Psycho had hit that ball with the bat and then flying out the window and out in the distance?
Yeah, that's it. They'd have to try to find his golden ball again. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, here it is.
Here was the Flatwoods monster, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where they're both trying to learn how to use their powers in this episode, right? They're kind of channeling and trying to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. Have you not got that clip of Okarun sucking on Turbo Granny's titty?
Yeah. Later on, yeah. Yeah. That's, I think, when they go back to the tunnel, he and her.
Yeah,
they go 4. Back. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's all like super kind of. He's always a bummer. Like,
yeah, he's all okay. I think he starts acting a bit more like Ken Takakura, like the film star, whenever he's like that, like kind of like stoic and downbeat.
Yeah, yeah. Like too cool.
I also love how like Momo's was like kicking him in the shins and like throttling him as well.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oh. Of the black and white art here as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I love the design. Like, so good.
Design.
Like, even that big monster design, like, it's just for the one episode, but it's so cool.
It's almost like they're using like the genre trappings of like horror and sci-fi, but it's almost like a superhero story where everyone has like alter egos and superhero costumes and stuff, and it's just kind of adopting that language in the right mind.
Yeah, it's a good mix. Definitely a good mix of the genres for sure. Yeah.
They don't have too many good clips on here.
That's good though. It gives people a taste.
You have to go watch it.
Yeah, it gives a good taste of what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I love this show. Like I say, I watched the whole series. I've actually there's a couple of like YouTube reactors I found, and I went back and watched like their full reactions to the full series as well. So I think I've seen it like between like watching it myself and watching it through a second screen. I've seen like every episode multiple times.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you should check out DanDaDan season 1 and get yourself all caught up in time for season 2 launching in the summer.
Do you have a favorite character?
I like all of the characters, but my favorite is probably Okarun. Maybe because I see a little bit of myself in him. But
well, he's so likable. Usually, like a lot of times with a character like that, they turn out like Shinji in Evangelion, and I love Evangelion, but Shinji is just such a fucking shit lead character, man. He's so like hard to get into. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that. So like, I like that like Ken's got that kind of downbeat trodden, but he's still likable, man. And he doesn't. Like, he's not just.
He's not a little incel or anything. He's not like a wee like like he's like actually a good person like as well. And like and underneath like the weirdness, he's actually quite brave and quite decent. And I think he's like a really likable character. But I say I like everybody in the show. He's my favorite, but they're all good.
Yeah, I'd have to go. I love Momo. I just think she's so good. I like them all as well, but I mean, Momo's just so funny. Like the way she teases Ken all the time and stuff, and just how she's in denial about her feelings for him, kind of, and just I love the character. And
she's just such a really cool kind of like she just has it together. Like she is really like the hero of the story. Like everyone else is kind of like like Oaken's like the sort of second leader supporting her. She's the one that's kind of like the mover and shaker that's driving the action. And like I say, like she's strong and she's funny. And just like I say, like I like the little like teasing like of Okarun and kind of like where they're always kind of like at each other's throat, calling each other names, but you can tell it's not Roy, kind of like that mean spirited. And I love that little beat in the end of episode 1, like where they just escaped like the flaming UFO, and like Okarun's like trudging down the street and just his like underpants, and like and she's walking next to him and does that little like kick of his like shins.
That's true. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and how also another one where she's like she's popular, but not because she wants to be. Like she doesn't care about popularity.
Yeah,
like where she will take. Like when they all end up naked after fighting the pistol shrimp. And like she's like, oh, I'll just say I'll take the blame for something in that episode at the end. And then she's like, oh, why didn't you? Everyone's gonna hate you if you say you made the rumor. I don't know if it's the episode before or after that one.
No, it's episode 10, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I don't care, and then so I love that character. Like I don't know, I see a lot of myself in her, so that's why, not unlike you, that's why I love that character so much. So yeah, but and my second favorite would have to be Momo's granny.
Yeah, she's great too.
She's great. Yeah, I love her. Just the nonchalantness of her, like kind of, And what was it? What was the scene where she offers? What was it? She gives it to others something, but she doesn't offer it to her.
Oh, her uniforms. It's like
to buy the
uniforms. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's for the uniforms. Money to buy new uniforms. And she's like, yeah. Realizing,
as much as she says that she doesn't care, and she doesn't know like these are. I don't care about these brats. I'm not interested. Clearly, she is like clearly she's like taking in like her granddaughter whenever after whatever's happened to Momo's parents.
Yeah.
And all these other rogue children that show up at her door, like she feeds them all, like and she like gives them shelter, and like so like clearly she is a good person.
That brings me to a question.
Yeah.
Like in the first episode, Momo has this story about like her getting made fun of for doing the ritual pointing. Do you think the granny made her do that to get her made fun of, or do you think that once you meet the granny, because like you kind of get the story that like Momo was doing it to support her granny, but like
I don't think she made her do it, but maybe
you think she told her to do it so she'd get made fun of though. Like knowing the granny now,
not at that age. Now older, yes, but not when she was a kid.
Yeah, no, I don't think she would have done it when Jake and because like back when like she was a little kid and she idolized the granny. I think it would have been pretty cruel to be like sending her out to. I think it was only after they had a more like fractious relationship later on that she like
where they make her do the robot impersonation and all that. And also, what is it? I always forget her name. Fuck. Where she's like, "Oh, that can't be your grandma. She's too good looking."
Yeah, Ira. Yeah, it's like yeah.
She's like, "Oh,
and
I
even
like this kid."
Gigi's like, I thought she was your aunt. She's your granny.
Yeah. They play on it like they don't. They know that she's a good looking granny, and they lean into it.
Do we think that she's actually really good looking? Do you think she's like pulling some kind of glamour, like and she's actually?
I don't know.
My thoughts were either she's putting on some kind of glamour to look younger than she actually is, or she's so young because she isn't actually Momo's granny, and maybe like Momo is actually some kind of supernatural entity, like a demon or something that like she's
maybe
has like false memories or something.
Okay. Oh,
that's my guess. That's not based on anything I've read. That's just me.
Okay. I was gonna say you know more than us because
none of this has been resolved in the books. Like, but that's just my guess of like where it could be going.
Cool. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past any concept for this show. Like, I mean, or any idea. Like, they don't play by the rules on this show. They like, I think they'll try anything. So it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, we've been going for an hour on this show. So what any final thoughts before we sign off? Or
just that it's great and you should watch it. I think it's funny, it's sweet, it's spooky, it's kind of horny, but in a good way. I think like like it has a bit of everything. It caters to all genres. It's a whole lot of fun. I think all anime fans, maybe not anime fans, should would enjoy it. I think it's really cool. Just check it out.
Yeah, like it's got a very diverse cast, so it covers a lot of archetypes, so I think, I mean, it's great. I'm glad Johnny told me to watch it because probably one of my favorite shows of 2024.
It was my number one favorite show of 2024.
Well, it made our list as well. I don't remember if I'm the one who put it or Johnny did. Maybe we both put it, but at our end of year list, this was definitely at the top of our list when we did our end of year. So
yeah, it was my good naughty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was our naughty, made the naughty list, but in a good way. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, I echo everything John said. Great show. I highly recommend. I mean, it's got, like you said, it's got everything. It's got some feel good vibes. It's got some great action. It's got some heartfelt moments, a lot of laughs.
Yeah, I laugh out loud at least once every episode.
Yeah. It's got the romance in there as well, the little bit of a romantic story thread through the entire thing.
I mean, like genuinely, like I was like full on like biting and buying all like the kind of soap opera stuff that I'd normally roll my eyes at, but I'm all like, oh no, like she thinks that he likes the other person and actually likes her, like what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. You buy in because the characters are so great, So yeah. Johnny, man.
Oh, nothing, man, that I can really add. Like you guys kind of covered it all, and I can't wait for July, man. Like I can't wait for
July
more.
season 2.
Do you guys think that Ida and Gigi are gonna hook up because they're both pretty conceited and they both think that they're like such beautiful people? I kind of get the
It's hard
feeling
to
that
say.
This isn't a spoiler or anything because like that has nothing like that's came to fruition like in the comics. But I will say that at least in the comics, like they have a real good kind of like double act dynamic whenever it's like the two of them together. Like, kind of like it's because like it's almost like they're the perfect personality types to each other because like Gigi is like super friendly and accommodating and thinks everyone's brilliant, and Ira like will agree with him, you know, like so like you know, so it's kind of like they're the perfect match for each other.
Yeah. Oh, that just made me think of a scene from when Ira and Ken,
Yeah.
where she's explaining how relationships work, and he's like, "Where'd you learn that?"
And I cussed to the scene when she's
From
in
a
the
video from my dad's study. Yeah, he's like, "What? That's not how." It's just funny little moments like that throughout the whole thing. Anyway, yeah. So, man, we hope more people go and watch it, and I hope more and more people jump on, and Netflix keeps going with this series because it's so good.
Yeah, no, if Netflix cancels this, I'm gonna like put like a Turbo Granny level curse on them.
I'm canceling my subscription.
munching at your dong, man.
2 dongs up. Or 2 golden balls, I give it. Yeah, so yeah, man. So John, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure talking to you. And good luck with your new book.
Yeah.
We'll show people one last time.
Going out to backers soon, hopefully in shops not too long after that. Groggo and Shanks coming later this year. Got a new book that's going to be getting announced in the next month or so, so watch this space for that. And if you like my ramblings, check out my newsletter.
You changed
comics.com.
Yeah, you changed that up right now.
I just made upgraded to a new website. Basically, I took advantage of like my Squarespace domain from my old crusty WordPress about page. It stopped working, so I decided to just make a fresh page with lots of pictures and graphics and links to all my previous work and where to buy them all. And yeah, so that's all on there. Like you can read about all my bibliography of titles, and you can sign up to my newsletter. And then you sign up, you got a whole bunch of free comics, including a free ash can of issue 1 of Groggo and Shanks to sample it for yourself.
Okay.
And yeah, if that's me, so you can check that out there. And also my online shops, johnleescomics.bigcartel.com, and Patreon page is patreon.com/johnlees. Find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, all that stuff as well.
Perfect. Johnny.
Yeah, we'll be back on Sunday. We're going to be doing the Sunday Spank. I think it's going to be the same time afternoon. So
it'll be, I think, because now they've changed their time, so it'll probably be an hour earlier. Because the time change just happened a couple weeks ago for them over there. Yeah.
Sunday Spank sounds like something like Momo gives Okarin.
Yeah, it's with one of our buddies. We call his nickname Spanky. So yeah. So we'll be covering part 2 of East of West. We'll be doing year 2.
One of my all-time faves.
Yeah, great book. We had a lot of fun reading it. So we'll be diving into year 2, the hardcover edition of East of West.
Hell yeah. And we got a music episode planned.
Yeah, the 26th.
26, yeah.
And Max Hoven's coming on the 23rd, I believe, the Tuesday, if that's a Tuesday. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but he'll be coming on the show that week as well.
Cool. So yeah, that's kind of what we got planned for the near future. See you guys then. Take it easy, y'all.
Bye.